People always ask me, what is a day in your life like? I mean, you're a master's student, that's pretty much the coolest thing a person could be. You know, we're the bad boys of academia, everyone says it. And they're always like, man, it must be so cool. Every day must be a new adventure. And to be completely and totally honest with you, it's true. It's amazing. I'm always doing something awesome. There is rarely a dull moment in my life. I'm always like...
Writing. Reading. My personal favorite, crying.
It's fun. It's very fun. Good morning, everybody. Don't know where to look. I don't usually do selfie videos, but welcome to a day in my life. I don't know about you, but my day starts when I wake up. I know, very relatable content. Speaking of being relatable, I don't like mornings. I hate mornings. I'm not a morning person. If mornings were a person, I would not fight the person because I would lose, and I'm a pacifist. Though I'm a pacifist because I'd probably lose any fight I'd enter. That's not important. As you can tell by all of this, I don't do a lot of good thinking in the morning. A lot of my best work comes late in the afternoon, evening side, nighttime. I do a lot of writing at night. I don't know, what's just come easier then for some reason. But yeah, when it comes to my morning routine, I like to start my day the right way. I get up, I get showered, I get dressed, and I immediately start procrastinating. First thing in the morning, I'm watching Netflix. While eating breakfast, watching Netflix. Done eating breakfast, keep watching Netflix. And there's like this little voice in my head always being like, you've got deadlines coming up, you should probably do some work. Ignore it. That voice is trying to distract you, trying to keep you from living in the moment, living your life to the fullest. By watching Love is Blind. Rewatching. While eating breakfast in the morning, I like to proofread my work from the previous day. I find it very helpful to look at the work with a fresh perspective, notice things that maybe could be phrased better, or come up with ideas to supplement the work. I find it very helpful, especially in refamiliarizing myself with the work and preparing me for the day ahead. It really just keeps you active, and I find it to be a very helpful ritual. So I am showered and dressed, I had a quick breakfast, and I am ready to take on the world. By that I mean I'm ready to go grocery shopping, grab some supplies for the family. I'll take you guys along for that. You can see what an amazing driver I am, and hopefully I don't crash, or hopefully I do. I think that'd be more entertaining. I won't do it on purpose, but if it happens, you know, it happens. But yeah, I'll take you along for that. Before I can do that, I have to get the cat out of the garage. He is hiding under my car, and that is not going to be an easy thing to do. But yeah, I'll take you guys along for the ride. I hope you like time lapses, because there's going to be a lot of those. That's not a joke. There's going to be a lot of time lapses. I got the cat out of the garage. Can I say hi? Hi to the people. It's very dark, there's load shedding. Oh, he's coming. Oh, okay. Off to the grocery store. So I'm back from my grocery run and I'm ready to do some proper work now. I have an interview in about an hour, so I'm just gonna start prepping for that. I'll take you through all of that. It's not a lot. But interviews are my favorite part of research. It's the actual research part, data collection. And I did interviews for both my honors project and now my master's. And I always get nervous before interviews. I don't know why. It doesn't matter who I'm interviewing. I don't know. It's not public speaking, but I get the same reaction to interviews that I do for public speaking. I don't know why. But so yeah, part of it is just calming myself down, reminding myself I know how to do this. I go through the interview schedule a bunch just to make sure that I know the questions and stuff. I have that open beside me during the interview. And yeah, interviews are very exciting things, because there's always at least one unique insight per person based on either their profession or just their perspective on things. And so yeah, I really enjoy it. It's fun to see how your findings, because this is the data that's going to inform your findings. It's interesting to see how that either complements or contradicts the literature. I always find it very cool. And yeah, I'll take you into the prep for all of that now. So this is my interview setup. I use my iPad so I can have the interview schedule open that will have all the interview questions on it, and I use my laptop to conduct the actual interviews. For all of my interviews I use MS Teams, and I like to run a little test meeting beforehand, just make sure that everything's working. That's me. You can give your test meetings a nice little name, something simple like, I don't know, give Professor Jennifer Fitchett a raise. Or else I will get violent. So my interview was cancelled, which sucks, but it's one of those things that happens, usually at the last minute. But it happens, and you just kind of have to get used to it and prepare ahead of time, because you have a certain amount of participants you need to get. You have a sample size, so it's just good to have a backup person, knowing okay, I can't get this person, I can get that person. But it's not a huge setback. I can still interview this person, we can still reschedule for another time. But regardless, I have a nice and busy day still, so on to the next thing, which is writing is not easy, for me at least. I used to think I was very good at writing, actually, but even then, it wasn't the easiest thing in the world, because it's a skill. It's something you have to work at, something you have to practice and hone. And for me, I always find starting off to be the hardest part, because you don't fully know you can't totally envision what it's going to be, the structure and all of that. I think of it as a sculptor. You start off with a big block of rock, and then you're finding the statue in it, you're chiseling away, and it's hard at first to see what it's gonna be, So you start off as a writer, you start off with this big chunk of knowledge, this big block of knowledge and information, all this literature and stuff that you've gathered and put together, and you're chiseling away at it, trying to find a cohesive, coherent, sensible piece, And it starts off hard, but you do find the shape of it. As you keep going, you start to find the shape of the paragraph, the shape of the chapter. The structure comes together, the flow comes together. And it's really, I don't want to say glorious, that sounds so stupid. But it is kind of cool. Once you hit that flow and once things start coming to you, the right words start coming, the structure starts coming, everything starts to make sense, and you can finally sort of see what it's meant to be, what it's meant to look like, and it starts to look like what it's meant to look like. It's awesome. It's very cool. It's not the easiest thing to get to, but it is rewarding when you do eventually get to it. And my supervisor talks about celebrating your victories, and it's a very important thing to do, because I think we don't always realize how hard we work. You know, in the moment you feel tired and exhausted, but like you don't realize how much effort goes into every sentence, because you're writing and rewriting every sentence. If you're like me, you have a bunch of Word documents with different versions, slightly different versions of each thing, and you do need to celebrate that. You do need to pat yourself on the back and say, you know, this is not the easiest thing in the world, and you did it. You did a good job of it. And you know, it's when you look back on it, or when you submit it, like the person reading it's not going to know how hard you worked on it, but you'll know, and your supervisor will know, and your friends and family will know, because you complain about it a lot.
For those who are curious, I thought I would show you the websites I use to get research papers and, you know, sources for my writing. And Google Scholar is the first one I go to. Super easy to use because it's just Google. Type in what you need and it gives it to you. The next one that I use is Scopus. Again, great, especially for, you know, papers on biometeorology. Wonderful. PubMed, also very good. Web of Science as well. Love it. And lastly, definitely not Sci-Hub. Definitely not. I would never. Not Sci-Hub. Morning has just ended, afternoon's just begun, and I'm taking my first break. Coming outside, get some fresh air, bit of sunlight, not much sun, but yeah, I'm gonna do a bit of reading. Break, and I am ready to start working again, continuing with my study site chapter. Yeah, so I've worked pretty solidly today. I'm taking a bit of a break, having a late lunch, early dinner, which will be nice. Gonna eat something nice and healthy like McDonald's, you know. Not all of my breaks take place outside. It's me doing something either intellectually or physically stimulating, like earlier it was reading or exercising, which I did do. I just didn't show that in the video for reasons that don't need to be said out loud. But yeah, I'm just gonna watch YouTube now, probably something very stupid, but yeah, you know, it just helps you de-stress, gets your mind off everything. You need to do it at some point or you'll go insane. But yeah, after my break I'm going to transcribe interviews, which is where you re-listen to the interview and you have to type out what you and the participants say. Very helpful process, very helpful for data analysis, because you pick up on little nuances and things that they mention, which you can take note of for later. And in terms of listening to your own voice over and over and over again, don't recommend that. Not fun. I thought it was the worst thing until I started doing these videos and watching myself back in these videos, especially the time lapses, because I did one of me eating breakfast and watching my mouth move like that, watching your mouth sped up moving. Not great. I don't recommend it if you want to have like any semblance of self-esteem. But yeah, let's cut to a time lapse. I'm guessing it's probably a time lapse. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's probably a time lapse. good. I made a lot of progress in my study side chapter. I transcribed the last interview that I needed to transcribe. Until I do the next interview, then I'll have to transcribe that. But it's still a victory. It's still a victory in my mind. But yeah, I'm gonna eat dinner now. And then I'm gonna do some Googling. I'm looking into color theory, which is something that was mentioned in one of the interviews. It was not mentioned in any of the literature I've looked at or in any of the other interviews I conducted. So I'm very curious. I'm gonna look into whether that's been how color theory affects mental health, whether it's already been tied to the weather or if it can be tied to the weather. And yeah, that'll be a very interesting thing to look into. That'll be my evening. And then after that, I'm gonna do my favorite thing to do, which is pass out. Love it. Falling asleep, just knocked out. Wish I had some footage of that to show. Hello. There is load shedding at the moment, which is why it looks like this. I love load shedding. Big fan of it. Wish it would happen more often, but so I'm really enjoying this personally. This is my favorite time of the day. I'm going to keep on working through the night. Like I said, going to be looking into color theory and all that, but I'm going to stop filming because this is very creepy. I keep looking at the camera, expecting to see something over my shoulder, and it's deeply unpleasant and very distracting. It was a really productive day, really great day. I couldn't have done it without you, person watching. If it wasn't for you, I would have been on my phone looking at Instagram, but I couldn't do that because my phone was filming the entire time. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, for subscribing, and commenting, leaving multiple comments. Multiple. Or else. Oh, that's a terrible face. Good God.